Morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, October 6th, 2020. Time to take a break with Drake, America's Bible teacher. He's the one right there, flying in space. How's it feel out there, out in beyond the stratosphere?
Well, out in space, it's 300 below zero, but I'm okay.
Are you okay? Well, you had a nice coffee before you flew out there.
Yes. What does it say? Our God is a consuming fire.
Yeah.
It says that throughout the scriptures. But yes, good morning to you this Tuesday. It is well into October, my goodness. But reminds me of that Barry Manilow song, When October Goes. And it's kind of a song loaded with pathos. But October is awesome. A lot of people really love October, the changing colors. And talked to a friend on the East Coast yesterday, and they said there's no color change whatsoever yet. Yes, they haven't had a frost. But anyhow, it is October. And I love how Paul, he's getting ready to go and winter in Corinth. Winter 57, 58 AD. And by the way, something that doesn't really cross the minds of a lot of people, Paul isn't looking at his day timer. I mean, we make a calendar, and if it can help you organize your life and keep your mind on the scriptures, that's the whole reason we do it. But Paul doesn't think, okay, it's 57 AD.
Well, maybe he did. Come on.
Those numbers that we go by
Yeah.
weren't finally perfected
Oh.
and historically studied through until World War I.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. Hey, good morning, Sally Price and Dan Best.
Sally and Dan, how are you guys? So,
Yeah.
just interesting stuff. You know, forgive, I don't know. I guess I'm categorically called a scholar because I've studied this so much. I don't feel like one though. I feel like the same goof. They used to sit in Sunday school and
Well,
couldn't wait for the graham crackers to get shared.
so since you studied all this, my dear one,
Yes.
did they go by the Jewish calendar? Because the Jewish calendar has what calendar did
Yes,
they go
well,
by?
and
Because
also
they used a calendar because they said in the 4th month of a deed or whatever.
Yeah, there was the Jewish calendar and the
Yeah.
Julian calendar.
Well,
The month of
so
July.
If you didn't have a Julian yet, then what did you go by?
Well, they were Jewish. There were plurality were Jewish people
Yeah.
in this whole area. You know, in Corinth, they're Greek people. But
Well,
the Julian,
but the Romans went by the Julian calendar.
yeah, Julian calendar,
Got it.
and it's where we get
Okay.
the month of July, and then there's the god Junus and Augustus, and
Well,
then
yeah, I
there
know.
was Caesar
Augustus Caesar took over August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
Yeah, so, well, he
Yeah.
took over August. Who was named after who? I mean, I haven't studied that, but
Well, yeah, I know.
anyhow, so it's 57.
Actually, I did do a study of the months because I was working on the calendar. Maybe we'll include that in a future edition of the calendar.
Yeah, get one, honey. And then if people want to order a calendar, go where?
Go to sevenstreamsmethod.com to order the calendar and go into resources. There's a resources tab, and then you can pre-order. It's a pre-order because they're still not printed yet. So then that's how you do it.
Yeah. By the way, our Healing Power book sold out this summer, so we're got to decide whether we're gonna
We got to
do
decide if
another
we're going
round
to
of
do
those.
a paperback run.
Or not. So, but anyhow, we've come to the part. It's remember it's
I just finished
57
untangling
AD.
this cord, everybody. I'm
What's
so
that?
excited. Maybe they've been watching me as I've been untangling this cord. It was super tangled. Okay, back to the real stuff. Back to the Bible.
Okay, I was a little scrambled here.
I know you didn't see me doing that. So anyway,
Yeah, Paul is, it's 57 AD, though we say that, but while they're living 57 AD, they're not saying, hey, it's 57 AD. That was established later. But Paul, he's going to winter in Corinth, and he has talked about giving and the generosity and gathering an offering, like we said on Friday, 4 days ago, 4 days ago. He talked about gathering an offering for the church in Jerusalem because the Sanhedrin were doing what they could to financially bankrupt the young Christian church. Threatenings, jobs, market. Oh, you have to be down in the back. You don't get to put your shop in a high traffic area. There's all kinds of things you can do to bankrupt somebody if you want to be ugly about it. They tried to bankrupt Mel Gibson after he wrote The Passion of the Christ. This stuff happens. It's ugly, but it happens. The Count of Monte Cristo, in the movie, he kills that guy at the end of the movie who was trying to, but in the book, he just bankrupts him.
Well, he bankrupts him in the movie first, and then he kills him.
Yeah, but maybe he could have made his way back, but in the book, he really worked out his revenge. And Count Mondego, I forget the names.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no way he was ever going to dig out of his financial rut again. And this was being done to the church in Jerusalem. And Paul says, well, let's gather an offering. And they were gathering an offering throughout the empire. And there's no record that I can find of how much money this is. But I'm telling you, these people are so newly saved, newly blessed, out of the darkness, into joy. Offerings were coming in. I mean, I was just astounded.
Enough for Paul to get a chariot?
Enough for Paul to get a chariot?
Yeah, you know how people are like, come on, you got to give. I need an airplane.
Oh. But Paul says, I need the new gold-encrusted chariot. Yeah. The ones with the rubies on the axles. You caught me off guard there.
Sorry.
That's funny. But we're at a place called City Church in Seattle, and Reinhard Bonnke had just been there, and he presents his videos. And the guy died last December 9th, 2019.
He's in the calendar, just in case.
Yeah, led the greatest crusades, Christian crusades in history, and they're still going on with Daniel Kolenda. He speaks at City Church in Seattle. There's Microsoft money, there's Boeing money at this church. It is massive, it's huge, it's amazing. The guy, I think the pastor meets with Jim Caviezel regularly, and Jim Caviezel's from Seattle, when he was a kid, the Seattle area. They took up an offering for Reinhard Bonnke at this church. And $1,100,000 came in for an offering, and the pastor wasn't like, hey, this needs to stay in-house. This is our account. And he's like, great, keep this on. $1.1 million, one offering. Guys, these offerings change the world. The offerings built the Notre Dame Cathedral. When it was burned down, and I'm not going to get political here as much as I'm tempted to, somebody, a committed Catholic man in France and lover of France, started a fund, and boy, the money is coming in to rebuild Notre Dame Cathedral, and it should be. Don't think, oh, no, these glitzy palaces with all the architecture and the stained glass and stuff. No, give it to the poor, give it to the poor. A culture cannot just go off a cliff and totally desert beautiful things and call it, it goes for the poor, the poor, the poor. And we need to care in this way and help the poor get out of poor. Don't give to them in such a way so that they stay poor forever. And I don't want to get political. I'm going to keep going here.
Hand out, not a hand.
Hand up. Help
not
them
a hand
up.
Out. Yeah, there you go.
I was on the verge of giving somebody on a street corner once. I think I said this last month. I said, man, that guy, he looks all, and somebody caught me as I was going to check. Well, maybe you can give him $1 or something. One guy says, don't. He says this, he carries that sign, he puts God bless you on the bottom. He's not a Christian. Hungry, need food. He's not hungry. Look at him. He's not hungry. Everything that gets given to him, he buys heroin with.
Oh, that's so sad.
And people will go into McDonald's right here and get him a Happy Meal. He'll take a bite out of the hamburger, put it back in the bag, go back in, hand it back and say, I want a refund. This isn't right. And he says, what look, see, the bite, I tasted it. And he gets a refund, $4.19 or whatever. He goes and buys heroin with that. Don't help. Sometimes helping isn't helping. And we're going to talk about this in the final minutes today, but gifts need to be handed very properly. So a gift is being gathered. We break and talk about Titus for a bit, and then Paul gets back to the rest of the doctrine of giving. And in 2 Corinthians 8 and 9, we have the greatest compendium of what, how, why, where, who, wash, wish, wash, why, wham, about giving. And, Christian giving is what has changed the world. Christian giving is what's getting the Bible translations to the far ends of the earth. It's fascinating what is going on right now at a runaway speed. Way beyond 90% of all the people on earth have the gospel in their language. It's happened because of giving. Wycliffe doesn't build automobiles for Tesla on the side to raise money. Wycliffe lives on offerings. Salvation Army, this place that has blessed the whole world. The China Inland Mission, the mission organizations that are all over. It's fantastic. MAF, Mission Aviation, they survive on giving. These crusades in Africa, and Africa is over 50% evangelical now. That's amazing. It's happened because of giving. We take a break from the giving and we talk about Titus being sent to Corinth. He says, I thank God who put into the heart of Titus, 2 Corinthians 8, verse 16. And there's just 8 verses in here that I'm talking about today.
I thought you were going to be talking about the giving part. Whoops.
Well, that was Friday, and then we'll finish it tomorrow.
Okay, well, what's today's thing, hun?
Well, the title is Titus is sent to Corinth.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I thank God who put into the heart of Titus the same concern I have for you. For Titus not only welcomed our appeal, but he is coming to you with much enthusiasm. That word enthusiasm, en, means in. Like an entree, it's something that's brought to you. Enthusiasm, T-H-U, is what's left of theo, in God. Enthusiasm makes it an adjectival noun. Boy, I was in school too long. But he is so filled with God. That's what enthusiasm is. How about some enthusiasm? By the way, nobody parties like a Christian.
That's right. Well, it's actually, so it says, possessed by God, right? Yeah, or inspired by God.
And filled with God. God is your fuel. God is your tank. Yeah, I people ask me, and they have all my life. They say, "Are you been drinking?"
Yes, he's been drinking water. He doesn't need to have anything to drink to be a crazy person.
Living water.
Living water.
People said, "Oh man, you ought to come to our parties, man. You're like the best partier." Because I can get wild, and so much so that people think, "Have you been?" No, I'm not drinking. I live for the Lord. The Lord is my tank, and I left. I left the mill yesterday, and there was a big line. It's harvest time, and I'm telling you, there's strung out trucks waiting to unload at this mill here. On the way, I just so joyfully waved to every driver on the way out, and they kind of like, "What are you so excited about?" "It's good to see you," and that's just the way I do it. And this guy named Juan, 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 he unloads my truck every day. And I says, "Hey Juan," he goes, "Yeah, what?" I said, "You are number one." He goes, there you go again. Just give joy. Anyhow, Titus is going to Corinth with much enthusiasm and on his own initiative. Paul didn't say to Titus, I need you to go to Corinth, okay? I'm like, well, all right. It's a long way. It's kind of scary. And their cheeses down there are pretty different than up here. I like it up here, but I can stand by the golly. Titus is like, yeah, let's go. He's so psyched. He's so filled with God. And as Paul is mentoring Titus and Timothy and a squadron of other guys, he is happy to see these guys. They are really catching fire here. We've got a massive gift to administer soon. Titus is going to be a part of that. And like I said, there's more doctrine about giving. That'll be in tomorrow. But Paul is like, these guys are awesome. These guys are awesome. I ran a college ministry in the 90s, and it got to be that when we first met and circled up, there were 26 people. I had to do a roll call and keep a list of them, and there were 26. I still remember that. October 1st, 1992, and Serena was there.
As a student.
She was a sophomore, junior in college.
Junior
In college. Junior! It is you, Junior! And
Dad. God,
there were 26. And then in the 5th year I was there, the leadership team was over 60 people.
It's
the
wild.
Leadership team. People so eager and so competent and so responsible and so focused and so wanting to spread the love of our Savior across the whole campus. They're the reason this ministry was record-breaking. As soon as it got out of my hands and they started doing it, then it really took off. Paul is saying, hey, this is the movement of the world. And so Paul is training up Titus and Timothy, Silas, Barnabas, and others, and it goes and goes and goes. But I just want to say that as he's sending him, we are sending along with him the brother who is praised by all the churches for a service. So Titus isn't going alone. And I like that. I like that poem by Robert Frost. And
Which one?
I forget the title, but at the end of each
Let me guess.
phrasing, it says, you come too?
Oh, A Walk in the Woods, I think.
Maybe that's it.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, if you can find it quick, I just...
Maybe it is. I think the poem is actually called... Oh,
My wife can find things in seconds. It takes me a week and a half to find something.
I think it is actually called You Come Too.
You come too. But he says...
Oh, wait, The Pasture.
The pasture, is it quick read?
Yes, I'm going out to clean the pasture spring. I'll only stop to rake the leaves away. And wait to watch the water clear, I shan't be gone long. You come too. I'm going out to fetch the little calf that's standing by the mother. It's so young, it totters when she licks it with her tongue. I shan't be gone long. You come too. That's it. I don't know if there's more. Maybe
That's a neat thing on the farm. You come too?
Yeah.
I mean, we had to milk growing up. Milk goat, cow, and my brother and I always went together. Mm-hmm. It was one time he had to go to something early, and I was out there by myself. Mm-hmm. Paul trains these guys up. He sends them out, and he doesn't send them alone. So Titus says to, I love this thing. We are sending along with the brother who is praised by all the churches for his service to the gospel. Titus, you come too?
There
This
you
other
go,
brother,
yeah.
you come too? Yeah, you go too?
I'll put a link in below to the poem just in case somebody
Yeah.
wants to look it up later. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun little remembrance. I remember reading that somewhere in some...
In high school. I remember reading in high school on a
Oh, yeah?
misty late autumn night, and I would go down and feed the animals in the mist and the frost before school. It was cool. But you come too. You come too. So he accompanies them. But this thing about now, how's our time? 9 minutes to go. This thing about training and mentoring, this has to happen. We travel a lot. Wife and I, the countries we've been, all of us in together is over 70. And throughout the States, I'm a trifle concerned at the future, as I'm not sure we're training up our children how to run a business. The amount of boarded up buildings in small towns. I visited my great-grandfather's town a couple years ago in Indiana, and a lot of the town is boarded up. People are like, oh, don't forget all this stuff. Let's go to the big town and get everything at the big stores, the big chain stores. The young people aren't taught how to run a business. We have a store 3-4 doors down from us, legendary store for 140 years. It closed 2 years ago.
And there's no sign of it ever reopening.
Yeah. Oh no. And I asked the widow, I said, well, why didn't he spend his last 10 years of his life training to hand this to? Training someone to hand this store to is to keep it going. And this has to happen. Paul is training up Titus and this other man, and Timothy and Silas and Barnabas to pass this faith on. 2 Timothy 2:2. Train others to train others who can train others to train others. I mean, this has got to happen. This either happens or this thing dies. And Paul is doing this. He's sending them out. And they're not alone. You have so much more courage to do something when you're not alone. Titus is doing this and he's not alone. And by the way, I love the way they handle this thing with this gift. And giving needs to be handled properly. The Social Security account of America that started by FDR is a colossus magnus giganticus magnificatus of irresponsible bookkeeping. There is no Social Security account. It's all been spent.
Well, it's a revolving account, not a lockboxes.
We were hearing about a lockbox. Social Security, you're going to put in a lock. There is no lockbox. There is no account. It's blown as fast. They set aside, but they've borrowed against it. Did they keep track of that? No. I remember hearing about some ambulance service at I'm not going to name the hospital, in the Bronx, and $1 million was missing.
That's a lot to have missing.
And in the books, there's no trace of it. Where they carefully covered the embezzlement, pilfering, or whatever they did, and it's just gone. One of the biggest churches in America, and it's amazing to me, I really laud John MacArthur for standing up to this. No, this scamdemic thing, no. We are not stopping the movement and the worship and the fellowship and the exercise of our faith so you guys can play your games at our expense. No. And they're bearing down on him, and we'll see what happens. But there's one of these huge churches in the country, and guy's been on television forever. His books are everywhere. People who don't even believe like to listen to this guy. And he had an accounting team that would handle his offerings and way beyond $1 million would come in weekly. Way beyond $1 million. And one Sunday, they have all the checks and all the debit pays and Apple pays and whatever all that stuff is. And there was $400,000 in cash. That's a pile of money. That's a pile of money. And the accountants the offering counters, by the time they get to that, all the multiple services are gone, and they kind of look left, look right, and they had it all worked out. They stuffed it in a bag, shot out the back door, and no one ever saw him again. $400,000 in cash.
Wow.
Paul says, this is good. What is more? Verse 19. We are sending along with him the brothers. So he doesn't go alone. Verse 19. 2 Corinthians 8, verse 19. What is more? He was chosen by the churches to accompany us as we carry the offering. They talked about the offering in the last chapter, early in this chapter. They're going to talk about this offering in the next chapter. He takes a minute to talk about Titus and all the superlatives about him. Mm-hmm. He's enthusiastic. He is eager. He self-starts. God starts him. He's filled with God. He's been disciples and mentors. He's going to go with us, and he's going to administer this gift. This Titus guy is a good accountant. He is chosen by the churches to accompany us as we carry the offering which we administer in order to honor the Lord himself and to show our eagerness to help. Responsible administration. This has to happen. These countries where everybody's broke and frustrated and in chaos and in poor, and the king lives in a palace. The king of Brunei, my goodness, look up that guy's wealth. Is everybody else eating in the country? I don't know. But mountains of money are being dealt with here. We do this to avoid any criticism of the way we administer this generous gift. For we are taking pains to do what is right, not only in the eyes of the Lord, but also in the eyes of men. When you've got a big offering, and by then it's got to be a whale, then they changed all the metal coins out and just took the paper. I don't know how they did money back. I don't know how they do money now. But this is so vital. Accounting has got to be done. I don't care how good anybody is at anything, whether they're a shoe cobbler or a cabinet maker, or they're making airplanes, or they're running a restaurant. The books have got to be done responsibly. You can be the best. And Corrie ten Boom's father, watch repairman, the best watch repairman in all of Holland, killed before World War II was over. Corrie lived another 60 years or something like that. But her father was good. Best watch repairman in all, and he forgot to send bills out more times than he remembered to. How much was that? Oh, I don't know. You got it on to the next watch repair. You got to have a bookkeeper on, because you be the best anything in the world. And if the books are messed up, you're messed up, and the business is shut down. There's another thing about business. They say the grandson lives long enough to shut the business. What's going on? You have the guy that has the vision to found something, whether he's making boots or running a roofing company or anything, and then the son, who was kind of handed this thing, well, this is cool, all right, well, I'm going to take profits here, I'm going to buy a fleet of jet skis, and then the grandson is raised with just plenty, and has no work ethic, and they say the grandson lives long enough to shut the business down the grandfather started. They're not training. You've got to train the next person how to do this too. Moses trained Joshua how to keep this thing alive and, in the eyes of God, responsible. Joshua, great battalion leader, but he didn't mentor the next generation in how to be mindful of God.
Yeah, he didn't get back to the tent, the tent of meeting.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't get back to the tent of meeting, and he didn't take anybody to the tent of meeting.
Yeah. So this has to happen. What we see is Paul mentoring Titus, and Titus has got it. He's caught the fire. They're handling this massive gift, And they're doing that well too. Titus is discipleship thinking, and he is responsible with accounting. When this happens, it's this thing, this church we're doing stays alive. In addition, we are sending with them our brother who has often proved to us in many ways that he is zealous, and now even more so because of his great confidence in you. He's talking to the people of Corinth. Titus has just come with a good report, and now he's going back with another good report, which is going to be 2 Corinthians. And when Paul gets there that winter, 57, 58, when he's in Corinth, he'll winter in Corinth, and he'll write the book of Romans from there, which is interesting. Right by now, we're in about Acts 19 or Acts 20. Compare those things. It's fascinating to me to watch the puzzle get put together. Anyhow, we are out of time. We are over time, and we will be back tomorrow, and we'll be in 2 Corinthians 9.
Wow.
And we'll talk more about this concept of giving to the work of God, and that is the work that changes the world. And yeah, I'm gonna tell you tomorrow. I'm gonna tell you tomorrow.
You're so excited.
Something I want to tell you right now, but I'll tell you tomorrow. Okay. God is with you. God is pleased with you. God is overjoyed with you. God is so
Sending
happy.
you text messages.
And he rejoices over you with singing. He looks upon you, and may you allow him and walk and talk with him as he looks upon you, and go in peace, because God is with you. Be blessed.